Hi. Okay, so the 6th week on Monday was actually not that bad. I documented my Friday because I forgot to write about it, and then I moved on to more animation. I realized like halfway through starting it that I was going to need reference because what I was going to do was kind of complicated. What I wanted to do was the running clip from my animatic that I mapped out, but I was like, this is going to be quite difficult to pull off if I don't have a reference. I was like, okay, let me film one, but this actually took so many tries, like way more than I expected. Like I ended up jumping on the floor like 8 times because I was like, I really want this to be perfect because obviously I'd be drawing from it. I think the only reason I was able to pull this off was because there was not that many people in. Like usually in my studio there's people walking around and stuff, but it was only like, there was only like 5 people in, so I was able to use the space. Filming this, I was like, oh, maybe it won't work out that well because my shoes are in the way and the characters don't wear any shoes, so maybe I wouldn't be able to see like where the foot lands correctly, if that makes sense. But like obviously I couldn't just take off my shoes and do it, so I was like, I think so long as I have the action nailed, it'll be okay. The final jump that I did actually ended up being the best jump and was the one I ended up using. And then as I went to celebrate, I picked up my phone and dropped it. Okay, I gotta blur this part because my bank card fell out and everything basically fell onto the floor. But it's fine because I got all my videos, so that was the last celebratory selfie I did. Anyways, like I said, I used the final video as a reference for the animation and I just kind of pieced it together. So what I did was I grabbed the keyframes from the original video and then just placed them in order. And I really tried to match it to the beat of the song that I was listening to because I was like, that's what I planned in the animatic, which I think was quite easy anyways because I had the song in mind as I was doing the jumping for the original video anyway. So yeah, it was just about mapping it out correctly and making sure that it flowed nicely, as well as making sure that like the objects and the elements on top of her worked as well. So like the dress, for example, like I kind of had to guess where that would go because I wasn't wearing a dress when I filmed the video. So it was low-key like mapping it out because I was wearing jeans and I was like, okay, if I wasn't wearing jeans and I was wearing a skirt, how would this look like? But yeah, this part wasn't even that hard to pull off. Not the flex, but it was actually really easy. I think it's because I'd already seen the reference video so many times and it was just about placing it in order. And then when it came to the tail, I was like, do I want the tail to float around or do I want it to be quite stiff? And I was like, because she's a bird, it will probably be quite stiff, but again I wanted to have that bouncy element similar to like old cartoons, so I was like, okay, well it can still be stiff but I can also make it quite smooth in a way, so like it still follows the direction of her body but it's not like stocky or like too like not nice for the eyes, I guess. At first I didn't actually like the fact that the legs looked a little bit uncanny because they looked a little bit too realistic for me, but as I was doing it, I was like, I feel like this really matches the vibe of old cartoons. Because, like, I feel like a lot of cartoons are, like, really unsettling with, like, the way they move. Because it's really, like, soft and smooth. Like, it almost looks like it's been rotoscoped. And I feel like I didn't mind that look once I'd finished it. Because, obviously, I was referencing a video. And I was kind of, I wasn't going one for one, but I was, like, I was making sure that most points were hit exactly to capture that, like, rotoscoped, soft, smooth movement. But like I said, at first I was like, oh, this looks a little bit creepy, but it looks good and I think I'm happy with the way it came out. I wasn't in on Tuesday, so on Wednesday I actually came in quite early and I decided to eat food because I was really hungry. And then I also looked at my animation from Monday. And then I filmed another reference video because I ended up needing a lot for just these 2. And basically it was the same process. It was actually a lot easier to draw this one in because his feet were like quite flat, so it was easy to like make it bounce a lot more. And I think again like the reference video was really like super handy. Like it really came in clutch. And then I wasn't in on Thursday, so I basically did the same thing that I did on Wednesday. I think I actually forgot to fill in my reflective journal for Friday, so. Anyways, then I filmed another reference video and I asked one of my friends to grab my hand for me so that I could match it up with the animatic. And he was super helpful. We did like a lot of tries and it was quite like a similar process to how it was on Monday. But yeah, that's it. I animated that bit as well, and that was the end of that week.